Namaskar everyone and welcome to Sunday. Have you ever seen a wild animal being tamed? Have you ever seen a wild horse being tamed? Have you heard of the crocodile man from Costa Rica? Where a crocodile was shot in the eye when small, he picked up the crocodile and took care of it. He really had to help the crocodile to survive. He had to play with it, open its mouth, feed it. And then when the crocodile got better, he took it back to the river. Guess what happened after? When he looked out his door the next day, crocodile is right where he fed it. Crocodile came back to look for him. Several times he took it back. Fed it and took it back. The crocodile came and stayed with him. And he developed such a bond with this crocodile, even in his old age. He used to go in the river and ride the crocodile. And he and the crocodile became one. The crocodile absolutely loved him. It's true. I look at the whole video and story. I was amazed. And if you've seen two brothers from London took a baby lion, I think it was two baby lions, and raised them from small. And then took them back to Africa in the wild. And after a certain amount of years, they went back to look for them. And, oh my God, it was touching, tearful for me. To see how these huge lions grabbed them, hugged them. Ferocious animals. And you see the harmony. This human animal is no different. This human animal, it can become ferocious, it become deadly. You see some in deadly sport, you see how human beings can become totally ferocious, the animal part of them. You see how you can have heartless murderers, you can have hired killers, it means nothing to them to kill. Heartless. And yet the same human animal can create peace in the world, can be a vessel of peace and love and harmony. You see the two extremes. And if you observe the human brain, we have a triune brain. We have a reptilian brain that can help us behave like a reptile, can make us behave like a reptile if we identify with it. We have a limbic brain that can get us emotional and wild. And then we have a neocortex, a frontal brain, that is intelligent. So our soul can manifest all these qualities in this triune brain. But how can we tame this animal nature within us, inhabiting this body? How can we tame it and become like the crocodile that was tamed and the lion that was tamed? How can we do it? How can we do it? With love, with patience, and with discipline. The crocodile man was disciplined in feeding the crocodile and kept with it throughout. The brothers with the lion, they played with the lions. They became one with the lions. And the lion became so harmless to them. Became a total friend. That's what you need to do with this body that you live in. This body is not you. You came into this body at birth. If you study hypnotic regression and so many regressions, you realize that we came into the body at birth. This reveals that when the child is coming down, the unborn child is coming down the birth canal, then the soul is coming in to enter. So the soul has to come out from its expansive consciousness and drawn into this tunnel and wakes up in the body. And that first breath is important. Why is the first breath important? Wow! Why? Because the pranas inhabit the body. And now breathing can happen. If the pranas doesn't inhabit the body, breathing can't happen. The child is stillborn. So that act of crying opens up the airways. And so you know the soul is established in the body. But what happens? You have a little brain. The soul is not conscious of itself. It has to wait until the brain develops, brain and nervous system. And that's how we all came into the body. And how do we leave the body? We slip out of the body, even when the body is going through its last journey. When the body looks like it's struggling to breathe and all kinds of pain is happening in the body, and the body is like in a torture, the soul is already out. Once you see that breathing happening there, and you see the body laboring, the soul is not going through that. The soul is outside of the body. If you try to talk to the body, you can't. The body is not hearing you. The soul is outside. The soul is in a different dimension. From regression, these souls will tell you what happened in those last moments. They slip out of the body. And sometimes when the time is not right, they have to return to the body. And magic happens. You see transformation in the body, just by the soul returning into the body. So you are the soul, you're not the body. But do you know what the joy is for me? That while still in the body, I can come into that awareness. I don't have to come out of the body to know that. While still in the body, I could get into such depths of consciousness where I can feel that this body is not me. And I can learn to operate it with mastery. That's what happened to me in the 40 days. I made that switch into becoming aware that I'm not a body, period. When I went to shower the first time, because I couldn't shower, I used to just clean the body a little bit, but I was never allowed to shower in those days. The energy told me don't, so I just had to clean myself. So for 40 days, it was less than, when I came into seclusion, it was 1 week less, but the whole process started during 40 days. But when I went to bed for the first time, it was like a whole new experience. I was just feeling my body like a physical thing, but I'm not it. I'm this consciousness being inhabiting a body. And to this moment, I have that same awareness. But what was magical after that experience, I could feel everybody insides, internals, their energies. And that became something that was overwhelming for me in the beginning. But I learned to be aware of it. And then I realized the power that was granted to me from that whole experience, that I could enter people's being and I could lift them. And over the years, I learned to use that more and more for the good, for helping to enlighten a world, helping to lift a world. How many people are ready for this? Look into the hall here and you'll see how many people are ready for this. This level? No. People are ready for a level that will help them to make money, that will give them fame. But this level, there's no money to be made. Oh, there is money to be made, if you wish. But those who live at this level don't go after money, don't go after fame, don't go after disciples, don't go after anything. They're like the rose. A rose gives out its fragrance. It doesn't need to advertise. People will come to the rose simply because of its fragrance. All it's doing is giving out. Unlike the songbird doesn't sing for anybody. I think the songbird, but sometimes in the mating process. But apart from that, it's just singing to the world. It's just expressing its joy in the morning, waking up to the light. It's expressing its own joy. So when you live in that consciousness, that's what you do. You become a blessing just by being, just by presence. And that's what I've been doing ever since I started to guide people and teach. That's how I've been. Want nothing, but yet everything comes to me. And I would recall the words of the Christ, seek ye first the kingdom of God and its consciousness, and all these things that you could need and want will come to you. That's what has happened to me. The best of the world came to me, but first, the best of the spiritual world came to me. Then the secular world, the best of the secular world. So it's extremely important to learn to connect with that inside of you and to rise above the physicality, to master the human animal. I absolutely love living in the body. And you've known that I've gone through really a challenging experience during my travel in India in 2015. Body picked up Legionella, a deadly traveler's disease. And yet I carried that disease from India to Trinidad. My body contained it, and contained it in only one part of the lung. So what a body. And then I had to learn how to breathe properly again. But I learned a lesson, how to rehabilitate after surgery. 1 month after surgery, I was singing. Lung surgery, and I'm singing in the dome here. And very quickly, I brought the body back up. And to this day, I've learned so much from that experience that I take care of the body with so much care. I take care of this human animal with so much care. And I do so now. I put it to sleep. I make sure I give it what it needs to eat. I exercise it, and that's important to me. Exercise every muscle, every fiber that I can. Bones as well. Nourish the bone marrow. I've learned every exercise that I can for keeping the body fit and healthy. And that's going to take me to the end of the journey. And the end of the journey is going to become a joy for me, because with the blessing of the universe, this body will not shut down on me. I will leave it. I will leave it in the right time. I'm not going to wait for the body to shut down on me. I'm going to keep it alive, sustain it with every possibility until I've finished my purpose here. Of course, my body is not here forever, but I am here forever. And I'll be born again and again as needed by the universe. The universe has given me all the power and knowledge for this incarnation. That's I have it. And that's what I share with you all the time. All the powers that are granted for me in this incarnation. In others, it might be more. But in this incarnation, I have all the powers that I need. All right, so I leave you with that. Have a blessed day. My body needs to be nourished with food and water. So I'll give attention to it. Thank you very much, everybody. Namaskar.